What is up, my friends? Gary Gilgan here with the Daily Crypto. Today is August 1st, 2017, and the fork has begun. Bitcoin Cash just mined its first block, making blockchain split official. Man, a lot of hype leading up to this news. Man, I'll tell you what, the month of July was just absolutely crazy on the cryptocurrency ecosystem. But today, oh my gosh, look at that. Ethereum up 11, almost 11.5%, Ripple up almost 5%, NEM up almost 9%, IOTA up almost 14%. Holy cow, Veritasium 37%. Man, I'll tell you what, for all of the negative press and all of the fear, I mean, I'm telling you what, I was definitely affected by it for sure. And I feel like a lot of people, even in my inner circles, were affected emotionally over the past month with the market just taking a total dump, you know? But it's definitely rebounded. I mean, man, a lot of green, just a super green day. Man, very exciting stuff. Saya coin up almost 10%. Man, just good stuff. Good stuff. And also, it hasn't really grown that much, but look at Bitcoin Cash even. Bitcoin Cash, oh, it's not even showing up on, yep, right there, BCH. So man, $263. So man, I mean, people, everybody that was holding their own private keys of Bitcoin, you know, you were able to get the equal amount in Bitcoin Cash. So you just made, you know, a 10% gain. So technically your holdings would be as if Bitcoin were at roughly $3,000 per with this split, because you should technically have one for one. So if you have 100 Bitcoin, let's just call it Bitcoin traditional versus Bitcoin Cash, you're going to have 100 for 100. I mean, your holdings just went up roughly 10%, you know, because Bitcoin Cash is sitting just a little under 10% of the value of Bitcoin. So man, you're holding as if you had $3,000 Bitcoin cost. That's pretty exciting. Pretty dang exciting. Singapore central bank token sales may be subject to securities laws. Oh, that's going to be some interesting news right there. Singapore central bank. So now Singapore central bank has issued new statements on the offerings of digital tokens, stating that some issuances may fall under its definition of a security. So you can now see, after the United States last week, the Securities and Exchange Commission, you know, reported that they're starting to look deeper into digital coins and ICOs. They're trying to, you know, have those fall under securities law. You know, I'm really looking forward to someone, a lawyer, someone that's smart, that would say that, hey, you know what, the United States of America and these just crooked regulatory commissions and departments like the IRS, the SEC, you know, they don't have jurisdiction on the internet. That's what the people need to band together, and we need to fight for that, because the internet is a digital virtual world. And the United States and all these central governments and all these central banks and all these just, you know, it's just an old, outdated system that now they're trying to infringe on this whole new world. And that's what I love about cryptocurrencies. And I say it in every video, you know, the number one reason why I like it is because it's decentralizing. It's decentralizing money. It's going to decentralize government. You know, their day is over. Their goose is cooked. It's only a matter of time before people are getting into these cryptocurrencies. They're decentralizing themselves. They're separating themselves, because the government provides absolutely no value anymore to the people. We could organize ourselves just as easily as the government to build roads and to, you know, build infrastructure and things like that. At this point, all the government has done is created an outrageous amount of arbitrary rules and regulations and laws that just can extort money from people. That's all the government cares about. That's in any business, you're trying to increase your bottom line or trying to make money by providing goods and services. Well, the government, the only way it gets money is by tax revenue, by laws, and all these different types of things. So, man, it's only a day, it's only a matter of time. And you can see that they're just trying to throw everything they can. But when it comes to cryptocurrency, you're dealing with the brightest minds on the planet. The most intelligent geniuses on the planet are behind these cryptocurrencies. I mean, look at Satoshi Nakamoto. I mean, he created an entire paradigm shifting technology and took absolutely no credit for it. You know, that's a different type of person that creates something like that. We're not looking for power. We're not looking for prestige. We're not looking to have power over one another. You know, we're trying to set each other free. You know, that's our number one value, rather than the value of, you know, the majority of politicians that are in high places of power. You know, they're 50, 60, 70 years old. So they come from a whole different time and a whole different set of morals and values. And so that, I mean, they're trying to get in because their morals and values are based out of scarcity, and a byproduct of scarcity is greed, corruption, manipulation, coercion, murder, all these different types of things that you have to do to stay in power. Okay, and that old system, that old money system, governance system that's based on those type of ethics and values, that system is washing away. And I see this emerging technology and these emerging systems that are totally rendering those old systems obsolete. And we're seeing with this story and with the story last week with the SEC, you know, trying to fit cryptocurrencies into their model so that they can start extorting money from people. Good luck. That's all I have to say. Just good luck. Because we're in a whole new world, a whole different paradigm. You know, 25, 50 years from now, the world is going to be so different that most people don't even understand it. Most people can't see that far into the future. Most people, at least in America, I've been doing a lot of research for a video I'm going to make soon, but the majority of people in America are just getting by. They're living paycheck to paycheck. In fact, in many cases, they're falling behind. You know, people just need a change. So they're not able to see far into the future. You know, when you're just living day to day or week to week or month to month, just trying to survive, you don't really have time to think far into the future and to really see the technologies and the advancements that are happening, because you're too stuck in your present conditions. And I'm not saying that, you know, those people are bad or anything. It's just, it's an unfortunate situation that's going on. And so, you know, I'm just fortunate enough that I have a lot of time that I get to research and that I get to understand this type of information and these technologies that are coming into the future and even farther into the future. So just, man, awesome, awesome stuff ahead. And then, man, Litecoin, I'm super pumped on Litecoin. Litecoin bound for a new growth spurt. Doge, the digital silver. I think, man, it's some good stuff right here. Litecoin is a digital currency that can be described as Bitcoin's younger sibling. But everyone dropped the younger part for a while on July 5th when the trade volume of LTC passed 1 billion, leaving BTC in the rearview mirror for a moment. According to our forecast, the foreseeable future may find the digital silver trading at $65 per Litecoin. Man, that'd be awesome. That'd be super awesome. Then one last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is this story right here. The European Union proposes to stop withdrawals for 5 to 20 days at struggling banks. This is very important news that you see that's happening all over the planet right now. Is there's a big war on cash, a big war on cash. They're trying to get rid of cash and to make this a digital society, you know, a one world currency or something like that, because at the end of the day, they see that their goose is cooked. I just watched a video yesterday where they were talking about derivatives, the derivatives market, which are these banks that just have these huge leverages against debt. especially in America, real estate debt. And back in 2008, when we went into the first, when the last bubble popped and we had that great recession or whatever they want to call it, I saw yesterday that we have roughly 70 trillion in derivatives. And today we have roughly 700 trillion. So that number has grown exponentially, and it's simply it's a system that is about to implode on itself. You know, these numbers, they just cannot sustain themselves forever. And so eventually that system is going to implode on itself. And so a lot of these banks, especially central banks like the Federal Reserve, the European Central Bank, we're already seeing in Japan, we're already seeing all of these governments, you know, starting to take action because shit's about to get real. So member states of the European Union are studying a proposal that gives them the authority to stop bank account holders from withdrawing their money at struggling banks to prevent possible bank runs. Think about that. You wake up one morning and you got a feeling that things are going to start getting crazy. And so you go to the bank to get your cash to maybe buy provisions, put it into cryptocurrency, put it into gold and silver, buy food storage. You go to the bank, they're not letting you in. They're not giving you your cash. So man, just another reason why you got to get into crypto. You own the money. When you have money in the bank, you don't own it. You own a username and a password to an exchange, your back office on your bank account, so you can check your balances, maybe do some banking, like banking transfers and stuff like that. But in order to actually get the cash, you've got to go down to the bank. And so now these banks are starting to look at this, man. That's crazy stuff. The proposed measure was drafted by the Estonian president, Reuters reports. Under the plan, bank payouts can be temporarily stopped for 5 working days. The suspension, however, could be extended up to a maximum of 20 days. So think, man, if you had 10,000 US equivalent in your bank account, how would it make you feel? Wouldn't it make you mad that you couldn't have access to that cash no matter what for 5 to 20 days? That's crazy. But even in America, they're really cracking down on cash, limiting, or I shouldn't say limiting, but scrutinizing transactions. It used to be that if you deposited over $10,000 or even, over $10,000, you had to fill out a 1099 form so that the IRS knew, or the government knew, that you were depositing that kind of funds. I've heard that in some banks, some credit unions, some states, it's as low as $500. If you deposit over $500 in some bank accounts, you have to fill out a 1099 form if it's just straight cash. I just had a client of mine the other day, and I know this to be true. At Chase Bank, if you do not own the bank account, you cannot go to a teller and deposit cash into someone else's account. They don't want you using cash. It's untrackable. So they want to track everything now. They're trying to scrape together as much money as they can because they have this bubble that's just, I mean, man, that was a really good story. Total government and personal debt in the United States has hit $41 trillion. To me, that's just monopoly money because, the average person, going back to, the average American, I have got all my research right here. Where was it? The average American is making, average income in America is $44,148. That's the median income, I should say. The median income in America right here, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median wage for workers in the United States in the fourth quarter of 2016 was $849 per week, or $44,148 per year for a 40-hour work week. One, most companies are out there trying to get rid of the 40-hour work week because that's your biggest expense in any business are your employees. They're your biggest liability. Coming to work drunk, coming to work hungover, not even coming to work. you know, stealing on the job, stealing time, stealing resources, all those different types of things, plus the back end. If you do construction, you've got workers' compensation, social security, medic. You've got to pay so much. So your employees are such an expensive liability to any traditional business owner. And so most businesses are trying to get rid of the 40-hour work week. So that brings down the average person in America's ability to go out and make money at a job. So you can't really, again, we live in a paradigm where you can't really expect, you know, you can't expect a job to pay you much money. There are no jobs. It's all menial work, you know, because of the internet and because of your ability now is you must find what your specialized knowledge is. You must find what your specialized talents are, and you've got to go out and you've got to sell, you've got to start a business, be an entrepreneur, be a subcontractor. I can't remember where I just saw it, but it was talking about by the year 2020 that I think like 40% or more jobs in America are going to be subcontracted, freelance type of jobs. So that's just you can't expect to make much money at a regular W-2 type of job anymore. And so, yeah, you just you got to find a way. You got to find a way. So there's just crazy stuff. But a lot of those people, you know, they're just barely getting by. They're hurting. There's a lot of people hurting in America right now. And, you know, for me, it's the most exciting time in human history. So many opportunities out there, so many opportunities for a person to go out there and make more money than they've ever made. In fact, since 2008, there's been more millionaires and more billionaires generated on the planet since 2008 than ever before in the past 100 years. So for me, there's actually more opportunity, but people are stuck in that old paradigm where they're not taking responsibility. They're not focused on their passions. They're not focused on working and just making something for themselves. A job is, you're dependent on that job. You're dependent on another person, one single entity to pay you that cash. And people are getting out of that. So very interesting stuff. Man, just get out of traditional banking systems, get out of that dollar. I'm telling you, I've been saying this for a long time, longer than I've been up here. So geez, I mean, I've been saying this for a long time. That dollar is going to crash. To me, cryptocurrencies is so much more than money, but it allows people to invest just like a stock. It's an investment. You own a part of the project, but it's something that's very exciting, a lot of opportunity in it for you. So get out there, make some big things happen, boycott the dollar, get into cryptocurrencies while we're still in phase 2. Man, just a great day. Things are really starting to move in a positive direction. We'll see what happens though by the end of the week. You know, what's going to happen with Bitcoin, what's going to happen with all the other altcoins. You know, we'll see what happens. The first block has been mined in Bitcoin Cash, and the market is taking it well. Until the next video, have a great day.